It's called Paper Babies. My boyfriend sends me a text that asks, when we have a daughter, can we name her Marble? It's not the name. It's the when that pulls me to a record scratch stop. 2 hours later, my roommate breaks up with his girlfriend because there was no point in stretching it out. He wants kids one day. She does not. 2 nights later, there's an hour-long argument at a party, a bossy girl slamming her hands on the table after I say I would have had my tubes tied yesterday if I could. She spits threats that I will change my mind. I don't know how to explain to her that I am not in denial, that there is ache here. But it is not her ache. It is not the ache of clock hands. 2 weeks later, the strongest person I know and best friend of 15 years gives birth to her 3rd child. She tells me how the contractions feel like a wolf attack from the inside out. By the end, there is so much blood, I am rifle loaded and looking for the beast that did this to her. It takes me nearly a month to hold the baby. When I finally do, I sneak a finger into his mouth, feel around his soft gums for fangs. 2 months later, my period is late. For the first time since losing my virginity, my boyfriend and I go to the pharmacy, buy a test. He tells the cashier we are naming her Irma, after his grandmother, if it's a girl. I ration a little of the blood I am trying desperately to channel down to my uterus, up to my cheeks, and laugh for the first time the whole week. He holds me so miraculous that day that the minus sign actually feels like a little something is lost. They don't make Hallmark cards for your first pregnancy scare. There are no showers thrown for the moment you accept that you are made of much more wind, drift, feather than mighty all-motherly root. I promise that this is a lonesome garden party never planned in haste. The guest list, a long-gathered hope chest of flower-pressed baby names left to decay in exchange for some different life. One where I can spoon simple luxuries into my mouth without guilt, send postcards to my grandmother from everywhere she never got to go, and curl up with the selfish abandon my mother shouted from behind locked doors for. I do like children, but I own and like owning breakable things. I am and like being the one to break them. I do name each piece. Magda, Zora, Finn, Jack, Iris, Ada. There is this knowledge that he and I would make beautiful babies, Winston. He would make a great father, Florence. I, despite my protest, would make a really good mother, Oliver. There are pregnancy dreams, Ella. There are holding hands to belly and wondering what an answer might feel like, Harvey. There is sadness in knowing that I will not be that piece of miraculous for him or with him. There is this strange and unexplainable guilt for wanting none of this. There is ache. This I have named Marble. My last one. Yeah, it's fairly new. So I went through a breakup, and then I was really mean to myself, and I was like sleeping and being mean to myself and having regretful sex, and you know, like that's what you do when you break up. And then I finally had to be like, here's my pep talk. It's called In Which the Poet Learns to Wake Up Alone. If you insist on dwelling in this notion that your love did go away because they could no longer endure the heft of you, I say then let them go. You may mourn them and all the empty fields where your cities would have been, all of the dreamed and unnamed cities left unplucked between you. You may cry and rock and drink and drink and drink and drink and fuck some stranger every time you forget, or even when you remember the way their hands pulled at you without regret or judgment or fear. That they are no longer present to witness this lockbox beautiful you have been told again and again is simply not there. The way their gaze perhaps coaxed from you some luxurious bravery to look yourself naked in the mirror and smile at the heart it contained, the lust it released, and the wild, unabashed melting of all of your body into all of theirs. You may mourn all of this, but alone you may not now or ever stare contemptuous into your soft hips, your rounded stomach, all of your heavy and uneven parts, as though they are a collection of children who simply would not behave well enough to make your love stay. You may not punish your skin with untouching. There should be no mournful candle lighting, no willful deprivation, no forgiveness ritual. As your hips are not some obstacle to overcome, your rippled and stretched skin are not an off-key choir to be endured. Take note from your thighs and the way they embrace like unshamed love in a world so scared of touching. You hold so much warmth in you that you must only be a holiday. And there is no penance, none whatsoever, to be paid for that.